Welcome to the members area. This is the first page you'll see once you log in and gives you a brief overview of the tournaments happening this week and the players you'll be betting on. To see the players you'll be betting on, simply click the Your Tips page, and to see a more in-depth table of how these tips were made, you'll click on the forecast page. Next, I'm going to show you how to configure your account settings. So firstly, you're going to go to the top right corner and click My Account. Now in account settings, there are three features I'd like to highlight. First is algorithm preferences. This is where you can toggle between using the two algorithms. However, we highly recommend using the diversifying algorithm, so please keep this checkmarked. Next is the stake per event. First, you have to determine how much you're going to stake per event. As indicated here, if you're using the diversifying algorithm, you're going to divide this by 10. So in the previous example, we had £1,000. Divide that by 10, your stake per event is going to be 100. And then simply select your currency and click Save Preferences. Next is your bookie preferences. If you're not signed up with all the bookies, simply pick which ones you are signed up with and ready to bet with. That will tell our system to only show you the top odds from your preferred bookies. You can add as many or as little as you want. And click Save to continue. Now on the Your Tips page. This is where you'll receive all the bets for that week. All bets should be made as each way bets. Next, if you care to learn how we calculate these tips, simply click here. The stake is a very exact calculation, down to the cent, so please do not round up or down. This number is determined by how much you indicate on the account settings page. In the previous example, I made it so I'm staking £100 per tournament. So if you add up all the stakes for each player, it will equal £100. Next is the top bookie for that given player. If you click on Show More, you can compare the best to the worst. As you can see, Betfred 25 to 1 compared to Skybet at 40 to 1. Next is the terms. Paying 8 at 1/5 means if the player comes 8th, they'll get 1/5 of their original odds. And lastly, the value. This indicates how much you'd get back if that player places. The higher the odds, the higher the return. Within forecasts, you'll receive a more in-depth table on how these tips are made. You can click the key button to learn what all these terms mean, and click here to view the selected tournament. Below are all the players in that lineup. Implied represents the bookie's odds in a percentage. So if Higo is 35 to 1, the bookie thinks his odds of winning are 2.78%. Normalized is the golfer's true probability if the bookie had no intention of profiting. If you take the bookie's odds and sum them up to 100%, this gives you the real probability for each golfer. Predicted is the probability our algorithm has projected. This is based on available player data from the past 3 years, course data, and weather conditions. Discrepancy is the final outcome. This is where we subtract the true probability of the golfer by the algorithm's predicted percentage, giving you the real value on that bet. This is strictly based on probability, so of course it won't profit every time, but based on true numbers, over a long period of time, you will profit more than you lose. The only unknown is how much that profit will be. Here at GolfForecast, we have had 6-week losing streaks, along with 6-week winning streaks. That's just betting. But in the past 3 years, we have averaged an annual return of 25%. Next is the stake. The stake is indicating how much to bet on that player. The stake is double what the point value is on the tips page. This is doubled because our algorithm is based on each way betting. Please note that the stake is simply a representation of how much you'll be leveraging that player. The actual amount you bet is indicated by the player's points on the Your Tips page. And lastly, the highlighted green rows are the advised tips. And in the rare case there's a yellow line, that indicates the bookie is letting you bet on a player that isn't competing. Lastly, you can sort through this table based on whatever term you feel is fit.